and welcome back to the Joy-Filled Universe podcast. I am your host, Lisa Ryan, and this week we are going to talk about being happy for other people. Now, you might remember I mentioned that I was going to do this topic last week, but I did intuitive writing instead, which, by the way, how is it coming along? Did you give it a try? And if you haven't, I do hope that you find the time and space to provide some self-love and give it a go. Yet for today, we are going to talk about one of my very favorite feelings in the world, which is happiness and joy. You know, the reason I named my business and subsequently my podcast Joy-Filled Universe is because it's not just a name, rather it is a true desire that I have. Yeah, a world, or I should say a universe filled with joy. And one of the ways I am going about accomplishing this dream is to literally be a source of joy. Because as Mahatma Gandhi has said, if we change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him, which in later years was just paraphrased into, be the change that you want to see in the world. So for me, that change is joy. And the more I can bring joy into my life and the lives of those that I touch, the happier the world becomes. And now, speaking of joy, this is something that we all have within us. In fact, we are born this way. We are hardwired for joy and happiness. It is only as we grow and navigate life that we are exposed to those raw edges of the world, which can result in some not so pleasant experiences that can show up during various periods of our lives. And it is from these experiences then that we learn those negative, lower vibe emotions and energy. However, I personally believe that our default setting is joy. And when given the choice, I would think that most, if not all of us, would choose to be happy, because happiness is truly one of the very best ingredients in our abundant life recipe. So if we love being happy and we make this our norm, then even when we are going through those rough times, our practiced default setting can return us back to happy. Now, with all of this being said, why is it then that sometimes we can find it hard to be happy for other people, regardless of our relationship, and it can even be for a perfect stranger who we do not even know? And I'm fairly certain we have all experienced moments in our lives when we have noticed that we are not happy for someone else. Maybe we are feeling jealousy, envy, or even that little sting of comparison when saying, why not me? When is this going to happen for me? Why them? Why not me? And I'm going to say that this is something that is really probably hard for all of us to admit. But I'm here to tell you that it's nothing to be ashamed of, because we all feel it. It is a natural human emotion. Lord knows I have definitely felt it in my past, even occasionally in my present still. And I am going to say that with all the self-development work that I continuously do on myself, my goal is to say that I hardly ever feel it in my future. And if you know what I'm talking about here, if you know what I'm saying, then today's episode is for you, because we are going to talk about how we can transform those not so positive human feelings into motivation for our own growth and expansion. So let's just pull the thread here for a second and let's discuss what happens when we are not happy for others. How many times have we been scrolling on our social media and we see a friend or loved one posting about being on their dream vacation while we find ourselves stuck at home doing our chores, and maybe we don't even have a vacation planned for any time soon? Or one of our friends, they get engaged and they're posting all of those exciting ring photos and gushing over the engagement and how it unfolded and all of that sort of stuff that goes along with such a really thrilling moment in life. However, we are over here digging deep to find happiness for our friend because it might be something that we have been wishing for such a long time. Or maybe we aren't even in a relationship but wish that we were. Or we are in a relationship but it's not moving in that committed direction and we are wishing that it was. Now, how about from a work perspective too, right? Because this can show up there as well. And I know that I have felt this a handful of times in my life when we see colleagues getting promoted around us, but no one's given us a break. And we feel as though we've been working just as hard, if not harder than those other folks, but they're getting recognized and we're feeling forgotten. So whether it's your vacations that are coming up or perfect partners, career, home, health, oh my God, how many people have you seen posting about ultra marathons and you're sitting there thinking, I'm only doing a half marathon, thank you very much, or a 5K, or whatever it is, and you're just rolling your eyes at them. There are so many examples that we can insert, and yet, rather than joy, we feel that pang of envy, jealousy, and maybe even resentment. And the hard truth of the matter is this: those emotions, they don't have anything to do with the other people, but they have everything to do with us, with how we are perceiving the success of others, and with the story that we are telling ourselves about their success and what their success means to us. And if you don't know this already, then please get to know that the beauty about our incredible lives is that we are supported by an abundant universe. Success of any kind is not like a big pie with limited numbers of slices. It's not like the person who is winning in life just got the last piece of winning pie and now we're all out of luck. No, the universe has enough of whatever it is that we want. And there is enough for every living thing in the universe. Think about that. There is plenty of love, success, money, joy, and opportunities for everyone. Just because someone else has something amazing doesn't mean that we can't have our own version of amazing. And I say our version because what others have may not be in alignment with us and what we want. So focusing on what we want and what is for us is really, really important. Now, when we feel that jealousy or envy, it's actually a signal for us. It's a mirror that's showing us that something about what we are observing is what we too desire. It could be a promotion, it could be a raise or a bonus or a new car, new home, genuine human connections, or exciting travels and holiday to really amazing places in the world. So when we are experiencing low vibe feelings, when acknowledging the success of others, catching ourselves and reflecting inward can be super powerful when creating clarity. So rather than pushing against our feelings, try tapping into our true selves and asking, what is this feeling response showing me about what I want? And how can I turn this into inspiration rather than comparison? Better yet, how can I turn this into motivational action toward my desires and what I want in my reality? And from here, we can work to shift our envy into empowerment. And we do this by having awareness. The moment we feel envy or jealousy, don't say, shame on me. I should be so embarrassed because I feel this way. I'm awful for feeling like this. Rather, just notice it and say, I'm feeling jealous right now, and that's okay, because it's this feeling that is giving me clarity about what it is that I want. So I'm grateful that this is coming up for me. And then try reframing it so that it serves as a form of inspiration. And so instead of saying, why them and not me, shift that to, hey, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me too. Their success is living proof that dreams do come true. And if you happen to know this person that's experiencing success, well, then reach out to them, learn from them, and ask them about their journey, and do it from a place of curiosity and encouragement and aspiration, which are all really great vibrational states to be in because they spark creativity within, and from that comes motivation to take inspired action. And lastly, affirm abundance, which means knowing that there is enough for everyone. The success of others adds to the collective universal energy of abundance, and we are all part of this. We all get to thrive from this place of true universal abundance. And speaking of universal abundance, I want to add here that this morning I started rereading a very old favorite book of mine called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I have honestly forgotten how good this book really is because it is full of really good pieces of information. And I'll say that sometimes going back to the basics is like reuniting with an old dear friend. It just feels happy because it's filled with good reminders and things that make us smile on the inside. So if you have never read The Secret, or if it's been a long time since you have, then I highly recommend it. And I will leave the link in the show description as well, so you can just really easily find it. So anyway, I was reading The Secret this morning, and it was as if the universe knew I would be working on my pod outline this evening, because what I read included speaking poorly about others or harboring jealousy and envy, and how it can attract negative outcomes into our lives. So if we notice someone succeeding and it stirs up low vibes for us, and then we find ourselves criticizing them, or worse yet, gossiping about them, well, then we are just sending out negative energy into the universe. And according to the law of attraction, guess what we are going to get back? Right. All that negativity that we're putting out there, it is going to boomerang right back at us, resulting in manifestations of most undesirable situations. So that said, if we are experiencing feelings of jealousy or envy, we are largely saying to the universe, because they have that success, there is no more left for us. So we can't have it too. And it is those feelings that are creating a mindset within us of lack and scarcity. And it is these emotions that can signal to the universe that we don't have enough, which can then perpetuate more lack and scarcity into our lives. So rather than criticize or harbor low vibe thoughts of envy and comparison, perhaps choose gratitude and appreciation for the success of others. Because by doing this, we are aligning ourselves with abundance and attracting more of what we desire into our own reality. And to give a well-deserved nod to Rhonda Byrne by projecting what I am saying through the lens of the law of attraction, I would say this: the universe acts as a natural, infinite source of abundance that mirrors our dominant thoughts and feelings without any judgment calls. So if we emit vibrational frequencies of abundance, whether it be through feelings of gratitude, joyfulness, or having loving thoughts, regardless if it's for ourselves or for others, then the universe immediately starts rearranging circumstances to deliver to us a matching vibrational frequency, and it will show up in our experiences, the people that come in and out of our lives, and the opportunities that present themselves. So how we think about others only affects us. All right, now from getting this quick law of attraction refresher this morning, most especially when it came to what we think and say about others, I decided to take myself to task. I thought, Lisa, you're a pretty happy human and you're always happy for others, so much so that they go out of their way to share their good fortune with you because they know just how genuinely excited you're going to be for them. And you know what? I usually am excited for other people, so much so I can many times feel the energy from other other people, radiate off of them when they are sharing good news. And when I align to their success vibe, the natural amplification of joy between us becomes electrifying. Oh my gosh, have you ever felt that? It is literally a vibe, and it can really be intense. And come to think of it, you know where you would feel this kind of vibe? At a concert, when a super signature song is played and the whole arena just sings along with the artist. The thrill of singing with all of those people together as the artist is just silent on the mic and allows their fans to sing their song to them. It is incredible. Or what about when you're at a sporting event, when like a terrific play is made or a last second on the clock goal is scored, most especially if it is executed by a player that may have been struggling during the season, but has a starring comeback moment on the field and the crowd just roars with joy and excitement. That's the vibe that I'm talking about. That's the feeling of being happy for the success of others and how it lifts us up too. And like I said, we may not have the same desire, but the success frequency is the same. So we may not want to be the person like sinking the winning basket on the basketball court just as the buzzer sounds, but the vibe of success is exactly how we want to feel when focused on whatever our desire may be. Okay, so now back to taking myself to task. I decided to keep track of how many times I found myself thinking negative thoughts about others, whether I knew them or not. And I am going to say I was not pleased with how many times I actually drifted into a negative feeling state. And I kind of want to blame the weather a little bit here because it was super cloudy and rainy today. And your girl does, she shines her brightest when the sun is out. So I want to put it there, but anyway, it's probably not a really good excuse. And not all of this was because others were being successful. In some instances, it was just unkind thoughts. Like, most especially, the spike of my unkind thoughts were noticed when I was driving on my commute. Yeah, thinking things like, what the heck are they doing up there in front of me? And how about you focus on the road, ding-a-ling? Or here's another one. Oh, nice. I'm glad that you decided to cross the street now. Make sure you go ahead and finish that text first and then cross the street and have me wait another light rotation before I can go. Awesome. Thanks for that. Yeah. All negative and all only having a negative impact on me. And now you might be thinking, well, what should you have been thinking? Well, what I should have been thinking when it comes to cars weaving in and out of in front of me is I should have been saying, ooh, it appears that car in front of me is having some trouble. I hope that whatever they are experiencing isn't awful, and I hope that they're okay and arrive at their destination safely. Or if it's talking about the person that was waiting across the street and deciding to finish their text message first, I probably should have been thinking something more along the lines of, I bet that person is really absorbed in something important to them. And I hope that whatever they're texting is bringing them joy. And since I'm going to sit here for another light, well, I'm going to give my parents a call and see how their day's going. These thoughts feel much better and most definitely have a more positive impact on me as well. All right, so now that we have discussed the significant impact that thinking negative thoughts about others can have on us, let's now explore how speaking favorably about others can also impact us. When we are genuinely happy for someone else, whether they got a promotion, bought a new house, fell in love, got married, or launched their dream business, our energy shifts. We move out of lack, out of comparison, and into abundance. It's like telling the universe, yes, I see good things are possible. I celebrate them, and I'm ready for them too. Because being happy for others, it lifts us up personally. We feel lighter, more open, more inspired. And just like the concert and sporting event examples I gave a second ago, this happiness lifts those around us too, because we are cheering people on. When we are celebrating with them, it builds connection instead of separation, and it builds community instead of competition. And when we create that kind of environment, everyone is a winner. And how about the energy involved? When we are genuinely happy for other people, the vibrational frequency that we are sending out is so powerful. We are radiating joy, celebration, abundance, and openness. And the law of attraction is working here too. It attracts like. So we draw more of that high vibe energy into our lives. It's like we are messaging to the universe that we know how to celebrate. We know how to be joyful. So send more reasons to feel this way. And guess what? The universe responds. The more we cheer on and support others, the more opportunities flow our way. The more abundance we get to witness, the more abundance we will attract. So we can make this like an everyday practice, and it will eventually just become who we naturally are. And we can do that by commenting with joy. So for example, when we see someone on social media announce a win, don't just scroll by. Take a second to genuinely congratulate them, even if it's just a thumbs up like. And if it's in person, well then verbalize our support. Say out loud to friends and coworkers, "I'm so happy for you." And take the time to listen to their story if they choose to share it. And practice gratitude for the success of others. Write in your journal, "I'm so grateful that I got to witness Jane Doe stepping into her dream job. I know that I'm going to have this experience myself too, and I'm so excited." And a really big one here is to celebrate without comparison. When we catch our minds drifting into that, "But what about me?" or "Why not me?" or even worse yet, responding to the person in like a passive aggressive tone like, "Oh, who did you have to schmooze to get that?" Catch yourself and gently redirect your thought. Something I say to myself when this kind of comes up for me is along the lines of, "I'm so excited for them. This is an amazing chapter in their book. And I'm also walking into one of the best chapters of my life too. What a time to be alive." And I just want to say too, this works both ways because we have probably all experienced others not being happy for us. And today's pod has now taught us enough to know that the behaviors of others towards us has nothing to do with us and everything to do with them. So let's not buy into their low vibe and stay on our high vibe, knowing that we are right where we're supposed to be. So there you have it. The incredible joy of being happy for others. It truly is one of the most powerful things that we can do, not just for others, but for ourselves. Being happy for people doesn't diminish us. It expands us. It lifts our energy. It strengthens our relationships. It aligns us with abundance, and it signals to the universe that we are open to attracting success that is aligned to our most special and unique desires. So be grateful when experiencing feelings of jealousy and envy, because it serves as a compass that is providing clarity and pointing us toward what we want. And instead of letting it shrink us, reframe it and let it serve as an empowering motivator as we bring our dreams into our reality. And let's be aggressive, aggressive, right? And practice being each other's cheerleaders. Let's celebrate like a stadium of sports fans when the people around us win, and sing each other's song with appreciation and gratitude. Because when one of us is successful, it doesn't mean that there's less for the rest of us. It means that there is more from where that came from, because the gift from the universe is abundance of whatever we choose to bring into our reality. And as Rhonda Byrne has said in her best-selling book, The Secret, you attract what you think about the most. And that is such a valuable message, because our dominant thoughts shape our reality and attract corresponding outcomes. Good or bad, that is the law. The law of attraction, which, by the way, is also a hint about next week's episode. So get ready because we just might be going on a law of attraction adventure together starting next week. And I say starting because it's going to be more than one episode. So let's get excited. But for this week, it's a wrap. And I hope that you found this episode to be helpful. And if you did, well then, please share it with a friend, follow the show, or even leave me a review. All of this is always so helpful and very much appreciated. So thank you so much. And on that note, I am your host, Lisa Ryan, and say it with me, sing it with me. This is the Joy-Filled Universe podcast where we explore all the tools and tricks that are going to make your universe even more joyful than it already is. And I will see you next week. Bye.